Junior, did you start investing? Remember, I told you 5 years ago, invest at least 5,000 per month. Oh, yes, yes, I remember. You said 5,000 per month. Uh, but I could not. Inflation was so high. Expenses were just shooting up. I could not spare that 5,000 rupees. I know I made a mistake. But you know, how much you have lost by not investing 5,000 per month? Maybe I have lost another 1 or 2 lakhs. No, much more. But even at 20%, probably I would have lost another 3 or 4 lakhs. That's it. I'll make up for that. No, much more. Multiple X times you have lost. What? How much did I lose? You have lost. What? I can't hear you. You have lost. I can't hear that number. Watch this video by Frankie. He has clearly explained what you have lost by not investing 5,000 per month in the last 5 years. And that number will shock you. Trust me, it's unimaginable. Friends, watch this video. If you did not invest in the last 5 years, find out what you have lost. The number is unimaginable. It'll shock you. And that is true. Watch till the end. The last part is very important. 5 years? Can you lose a lot if you don't do something in the last 5 years? Yes. Probably you've already lost a lot by just not doing some things in the last 5 years. And the converse is also true. What if you have done something in the last 5 years? Maybe you would have benefited immensely. So, not doing something in the last 5 years or doing something in the last 5 years can make a big difference. Not just with money, with many things in life. Let me share you a story about my own life. It was in the year 1992 when I was traveling from Mumbai to Nashik. And I took a bus early in the morning at 5 a.m. And before entering the bus, I bought a newspaper. I was working for a small firm, a very small firm, soon after my college. And I was looking for a good break. And I bought this newspaper. And I had this habit of looking at newspapers. Although I never bought newspapers, but I would look at newspapers for jobs. And it so happened that I bought this newspaper, which I don't do often, and I sat in the bus. And the bus was going from Mumbai to Nasik. And what did I do? I turned the pages, I turned directly to the place where job vacancies are mentioned. And I ticked all those relevant posts. And one of them was with a reputed mutual fund. And once I went back home, when I came back from Nashik to Mumbai, the next day, I started applying to these jobs. Many of them. And one of them was this, which mentioned that job with a reputed mutual fund. And I applied for that job. If I had missed that day, I would have missed forever. Because that day it came. And that day I bought the newspaper, which I don't often do. And I posted that. Of course, I got a lot of responses. And the response for this was that it was a job with SBI Mutual Fund. But of course, I had to write a all India level exam. So I had to prepare for the exam. I wrote the exam. I went for the interview. I cleared the exams. I went for the interview. And then in July 1993, I got a call from SBI Mutual Fund. By then, I had worked for a small firm for a few months. And that break was the biggest break of my life because for the last 30 years, I've spent in this industry. And the fact that I'm recording this video because of the knowledge that I've gained is because of that one decision I made. And even the wealth that I have created over the years is because I was in this beautiful industry. I'm thankful to God for putting me into this industry, which I've enjoyed over the last 30 years. That one decision which I made that day. What if I had missed that? I may have not been in this industry because I was looking for jobs, so many different industries. I never dreamt of getting into the financial services. Now, why am I telling you this? Because it happens even with our money. Money that we all have lost by not taking action. If there's one person who has lost several crores by not investing in the last 30 years, it is me. I failed miserably investing. My focus was on my career. My focus was on many things in life. They were good. Focusing on career is good. Focusing on marriage is good. Focusing on the church, focusing in teaching and preaching, focusing on community service, all that is good. But what I missed is focusing on money management. Money, also, like career or any other things, you need to put efforts. You need to know, you need to learn. And I missed that opportunity. I missed a lot. But today I want to share with you a small piece of that. What have you missed in the last 5 years by not investing consistently? And I'm going to share with you why I'm saying this. And it's a huge, if you really look at it, it's a huge. Every year you do not invest, you postpone investment or you invest less, you're losing a lot. So let's get into this video of money that you've lost by not investing in the last 5 years. I'm Frankie Fernandez. I am a certified financial planner. I'm a coach. I'm a money and marriage coach. And my goal is to help young families like you to grow their wealth and also their relationship. So if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe for this channel. And take your pen, your notebook, sit with your spouse and watch this video. So let's get into today's video. And that's about money that you've lost in the last 5 years by not investing. So this will be a short video where I will try to cover what were the returns for various equity mutual funds in the last 5 years, 3 years, 1 year. So basically, I'll talk about the large caps, the large mid caps, the mid caps, the small caps, and ELSS funds. So I will talk about each of these equity categories, and what if you had invested, what if you'd done an SIP in these, what would be the returns in the last 5 years or 3 years and 1 year? And then what would this turn into in the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 35 years? So this will be in two parts. So in this part, I will try to cover what we have lost. And in the next part, upcoming part, I will talk about why do we fail to invest? Why do we miss? And more important is what we can do to avoid this and also to compensate what is lost. So this is what we'll cover in this video. So let's start. Let's look at what are the kind of returns that we have seen in the last 5 years in mutual funds. So this is the ET Wealth magazine. It's a publicly available magazine. It's to those who subscribe. Subscribe ET, Economic Times. And if you purchased Economic Times on any Monday, you will get this. I just want to show you the kind of returns that different kinds of equity mutual funds have given. For example, this is the equity large caps. I've explained in my one of my previous videos what are equity large caps. So please watch them. You will get an idea about what are large caps. So large caps are basically big companies, large companies in our economy, and mutual funds companies investing in these large cap companies. So here, based on the latest in August, September 2024, this is what it says. For example, Nippon India Large Cap Fund, it's a 5-star fund. 5-year returns has been 23.4, 3-year 22.4, and 1-year 37.13. So these are all compounded annualized returns. I'm sure you understand what is a compounded, basically interest on interest. So interest on principal, and interest. So that is the way it keeps going. So this is the kind of return. So you've got other funds like Quant Focused, 26%. HDFC top 120. So there are different funds here. Just a disclaimer here. I am not recommending these funds. Before buying any mutual fund, please do due diligence, research, talk to your mutual fund advisor or your investment advisor. Talk to somebody before investing if you do not know anything about mutual funds, if you're new to mutual funds. Okay, so with that disclaimer, let me continue. So these are the large caps. Now, large caps have given these returns, and I'm going to take you through a slide to show you what this translates into, right? Now, this is a category, large cap. Here there is a mix, large and mid cap, which means there's a combination of large and mid cap. In the large cap category, a fund manager must invest at least 80% of large caps, that is the top 100 stocks in the said mutual fund. Whereas in a large and mid cap, you can have 35% of large cap and 35% of mid cap. And there is a flexibility for the remaining 30% to the fund manager. He or she can invest into any other categories. It could be large, mid, small, any type of companies. So that is what is large and mid cap. And see the kind of returns in the last 5 years. As high as 30% and on average, probably 25%. Then we look at flexicap. So flexicap are those funds where there's a combination of large, mid, and small caps. And all of them put together should be at least 65%. That means 65% should be into equities. And the fund manager has the flexibility or the liberty to have any percentage, large, mid, and small. The fund manager can have any kind of percentages. And the remaining 35% can be other than equity. It can be debt, okay, or cash. So that is a flexi cap. And see the returns flexi caps have given. So here it says that the 3-year return of JM flexi cap mutual fund is the highest. So what are the others like 28.5, 25, 26, 22, and in 3-year 28, and even as low as 15, and in 1 year around 58%, even 59%. So this is the kind of returns flexi caps have given in the last 5 years, 3 years, and 1 year. Then let's take a look at mid cap. Now mid cap, what has been the highest? 35, around 34, 37, right? In 3 years, 37%. In the last 1 year, even 61%. And mid caps have at least 65% in mid cap companies. And then we have the small cap. In the last 5 years, as high as 39, 40%. And in last 3 years, around 32%, 46%. And these are all compounded annualized returns. And I'm going to share with you what this translates into when you do a systematic investment. And then we'll also finally see a category called the ELSS, where you save taxes. And here it is given 28%, 36% in the last 5 years. And the good thing about ELSS is you can save taxes every year when you invest, plus you get these returns. So now we will look at what is the average returns these have given, and also if you had invested regularly, what could have been the returns. So these are the kind of returns. I've just summarized whatever we have done till now. So equity large cap returns on an average, you see 20% in the last 5 years. Equity large and mid cap around 25% in the last 5 years. Flexi cap, again, roughly 25% average. Mid caps, little higher, 30%. And small caps, much higher, 35%. And ELSS, again, average of 25%. Now, let's take a look at each of these different equity categories and what kind of returns we would see. So this is Nippon India Large Cap. So if you had invested in Nippon India Large Cap Fund, SIP of just 5,000 rupees every month in the last 5 years, what could be the returns? Let's take a look at this. Is number of installments, roughly 61, 12 in a year, 12 months in a year, multiply by 5, 60 plus 1. I just downloaded from a software, so it gave me 61. How much you've invested? You've invested 3,05,000. 5,000 per month, which makes it 60,000 per year, 60 into 5, 3 lakh. So 3 lakh 5,000. And these are the total units you received. And this is as on date. I pulled it on 11th September data. And that is the NAV that is applied to these units. And what is the current value? 6 lakh 1,153. And what returns have you got? Roughly 3 lakhs extra, because the average returns in the last 5 years has been 27 percentage. 27 percentage. What does a fixed deposit give? 5-6 percentage. What about PPF? What about postal savings? Nothing is more than 8-9 percentage. You've got 27 percentage, and that's why I say what we have missed, and we'll see, one by one what we have lost. Now let's take a look at 3 years. What if you had invested? This was in 2019. Now, if you had invested in 2021, if you had started SIPs of 5,000 per month, you would have invested 1,85,000, but you would have received, as of today, the value would have been 2,81,000, close to 3 lakhs. And you would have benefited, you would have earned almost a lakh more, because the returns were roughly 29 percentage. And what if you had started last year in 2023? You would have invested 65,000, but today it would be 77,000. A return of 35%. In the last 1 year, the Nifty 50, which is an index, has given roughly 17 percentage. Of course, Nippon India Large Cap Fund has given much more in the last 1 year. So this is what you have missed. If you had started investing SIPs in the last 5 years, could you have invested? Did you have 5,000 rupees to invest? Probably you spent it on something else. This is what you had missed. Let's look at large and mid cap. So large and mid cap, you would have had a value of 6 lakh 57. This was 6 lakh rupees. But for a large and mid cap fund, if you had done an SIP of 5,000 per month, you would have had today around 6.5 lakh, 6 lakh 57,000, because the returns would have been almost 31 percentage. So 3 lakh has become more than double. And remember, this 3 lakh is not invested on day one. You have invested over the last 5 years. That means even in the last month, you would have invested 5,000. So the returns are 6.5 lakh. 3 years, the returns are almost 3 lakhs. And 1 year, 81,000. If you had invested 5,000 per month in the last 1 year, today you would be sitting on 82,000. Because large and mid caps together have given 47 percentage returns. Let's take a look at the flexicap. If you had invested 5,000 every month in a flexicap like Parag Parikh, you would have got around 5,87,000. Now, flexicaps sometimes give a little more, sometimes less. Now, if you see here, they have given less than the large cap, particularly this fund. So roughly 6 lakhs. And in 3 years, you would have got 2,70,000. In the last 1 year, 76,000, just by investing 5,000 per month. Remember, this is the investment value and this is the actual value today. What about mid-cap funds? Now, mid-cap funds have really given great returns. Now, what is it? In the last 5 years, 8 lakh 32. That means your 3 lakh would have doubled into 6, another 2 lakhs. So you would have got almost 5.5 lakh additional money because of the 41 percentage returns. 3 years, it would have been 3.54, almost double. 1,85,000, you get 1.7 lakh additional. And what about 1 year? 1 year, you got 25,000 extra. And see the returns, 73 percentage. Where is 5%, 7% in an FD? And where is this returns in a mid-cap mutual fund? Amazing return. So in the last 5 years, if you had invested in Motilal Oswal mid-cap fund, you would be sitting on 8,32,000 today. What about small cap? I've taken Tata small cap. 3 lakh would have become 7,70,000. Not as much as the mid-cap fund, There are some small caps that are given even more, but I've just chosen one of the funds. Not bad. Almost 8 lakhs in the last 5 years, and 3 lakh 14 in the last 3 years. And in the last 13 months, that is 1 year, you would have got 86,000. And ELSS. Now, ELSS, the interesting thing is that here you also save taxes. That means every year, by investing 5,000 per month, which is 60,000 per annum, you're saving roughly 10 to 30%. Let's take 30%. 30% of 60,000 is 18,000. 20% of 60,000 is 12,000, or 10% is 6,000. Now you have saved. If you had invested even that in a mutual fund, that also would have grown, right? So see the advantage in an ELSS fund. And by saving per month 5,000 towards your taxes, you are gaining almost 7 lakhs. And in 3 years, 3 lakhs. And in 1 year, 83,000. What returns? So by not investing, you have lost all this and much more. It's not just this much. You have lost much more. And that is the most important part of this presentation, of this video. And that is what I'm going to show you, how much you have lost, much more than this. Remember my analogy at the beginning? Small decisions we make, we think that we have lost something, but probably have lost much, much more. Or even the opposite is true. You would gain much, much more. Now, those who have invested in the last 5 years, including me, I had SIPs. I have gained, and many others have gained. I had SIPs in mid caps and small caps. I had SIPs in large and large mid caps. I had SIPs in all these categories. So what is it that is missed? Is it only so much? Let's take a look. So what I've done is I've taken all the different categories: large cap, large mid caps, small caps, flexi caps, and ELSs, and I have arrived at an average. That means you invested 3 lakh 5,000, but average you have received 6 lakh 50,000. You've got a growth of 3 lakh 45,000. Now what happens to this 6 lakh 50,000? Let's assume your age is 35. You could have started investing when you were 30 years, but you delayed. You have not invested in the last 5 years. And from today, probably you will think you will invest. So you do not have this 6 lakh 50,000. Now you may be thinking, oh, that's it. I don't have 6 lakh 50,000. I'll make up for it. I've just lost 6.5 lakh. No. You have not just lost 6.5 lakh. You lost much, much more. And that's what I will show you. So what you have lost is not just 6.5 lakhs. You have lost much more. If at 35 years, if you had invested this in the last 5 years, starting from age 30, you would have had 6 lakh 50. Now this 6 lakh 50 won't just vanish in thin air, right? It will also earn compounding interest. So the next 5 years, with just 12%, I'm not taking 15, 20, 25, what we saw in the last 5 years, because though that is the past performance. Future may not be as bright, as great, but roughly 12 to 15% is possible. So if taking it very conservative 12%, 6.5 lakh will become 11.5 lakh when you are 40 years. When you're 45 years, it will be 20 lakhs. When you're 50 years, it will be 35 lakhs. When you're 55 years, it will be 63 lakhs. And when you are 60 years, it will be 1.1 crore. So what you have lost is not 6.5 lakhs. You have lost 1.10 crore if you retire at 60. And when you need money, this is what. And not just retirement. What if you have your children's education coming up at probably at when you are 50? You would have had extra 36 lakhs. What if you wanted to probably buy a house and you needed to make down payment, probably at 45 or so? you would have had 20 lakh extra. What if you wanted to buy a car? In the next 5 years, you would have probably bought a decent car for 11.5 lakhs. You could have done anything. But why didn't you save? We'll come to that in our next video. Why you did not save? What prevented you? And what are the implications of that? And how to find a solution? Now, let's take 15%. So, if 15%, you would have had 2.13 crore. And if it was 20%, we don't know, but 15% is sure. 20%, yes, a fund manager can generate 20%. If you have a mix of large and mid and small caps, probably 20%. So you have lost 6.2 crores. And as I mentioned, you could have used this for any of your other financial goals. Buying a car, you would have had in the next 5 years probably 13 lakhs. And for your house or for your children's education or their wedding or anything, or for your vacation, just imagine you have lost all this. I know this is discouraging. I'll give some encouragement in the next video. So you have to hang on, wait for that next video. But this is what you've lost. And what if you now start? What will it become? And what if the person who has already invested 6.5 lakh, what will that person's returns be? Let's take a look at the next slide. So this is what, let's take a look at this. You are currently 35 years, your retirement is 60 years, and you start an SIP of 5,000 per month today, and with returns of an average returns for the next 25 years, you get 12%. It'll be 85 lakhs, or if it is 15%, around 1.3 crore, which far more, this is far more likely, around 1.2 to 3 crores you will have, even if you start SIP today. But the one who started SIP 5 years back will have this additional, which means his or her total will be 3.5 crore, because this is the additional gain that this person has. And I'm taking only 15%. So now it's up to you. You've already lost this 2.13 crore, around 2 crore. Now, if you want at least 1.37 crore, you must start today. You must start today. The one who started 5 years back, when you were probably purchasing some things, look at those things which you purchased in the last 5 years and where you spent 5,000. Is it worth 2 crore? Is it worth 2 crore in the next 30, 25 years? So I hope you have understood clearly what it means when you do not invest, when you don't consistently invest. I'm sure you have understood what you have lost. It is not just in the last 5 years what you didn't do, but because of compounding what the last 5 years you didn't do, the implications will be there for the next 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 years, and even more. I've only considered retirement of 60 years, but what if you do not need that money? You already have some other money. This money can keep multiplying and growing, right? So personally, I did this video because if there's one big regret I have about money managing, this is the biggest regret I have, and it's also called the cost of delay. So I have delayed my investing. Although I worked in a mutual fund industry, I have delayed. I have made a lot of mistakes. And now, more important is not that you did not invest, but why you did not do it. Why I did not do it for all these years, for many years in my life. Why don't people do it? And that's a very important question. And that is what I'll be talking in my next video. What are the reasons which prevent us from doing this? Because even after this video, you may continue not investing, because there are some things about you, about your life, about your family life, which are preventing you. So it's not as simple as telling, I didn't invest in the last 5 years. Now I'll start investing. No, You may still not be able to invest for various reasons, for external reasons, for internal reasons. And that is what I'm going to cover in my next video. What are the reasons and how to find a solution? What is the problem and what is the solution? And one big thing I'm going to talk to you next time. And that question we all have. Can I compensate for these last 5 years or last 10 years or 15 years? Can I compensate? And the answer is, any guesses? The answer is yes and no. What is this yes and no? We'll cover this in the next video. How did you find this video? Was it useful, meaningful, productive use of your time? Please let me know in the comment box. Please let me know if you have missed. How many years have you missed? 5 years, 10 years, 15 years? How many years you have missed? Why you did not make the decision? Let me know why you did not make the decision so that I can also incorporate that in my video and I'll give you the credit. So I hope you have liked this. If you've really liked it, please give me a thumbs up, like the video, because then many more will get to see this video. If you think that this video was a good use of your time, and if you feel there are others who need this, please forward this video. And also subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. I'll continue to focus on investing, spending, and anything related to money and family. I want you to grow your wealth and also your relationship. See you in my next video. Until then, bye.